Congratulations on overcoming the trials facing mankind and fighting the Administrator.
You defeated Polaris and are about to go to a whole new world.
May things be peaceful and happy this time around.
How's it going, guys? This is Spencer Presley from Shin Megami Tensei Network here with my review for Devil Survivor 2 Record Breaker. The time has finally arrived, and after many years we've reached the definitive edition of Devil Survivor 2 with Record Breaker. While on the outside this may just seem like your average enhancement, Record Breaker ends up delivering so much new content and replay value compared to its predecessor. This review will mainly be covering the newly added content in the Triangulum Story, but if you want to hear more about the updated Septentrion Story, you can check out our previous preview in the link below. It doesn't matter if this is your first or fifth playthrough of Devil Survivor 2, because Record Breaker goes out of its way to please both newcomers and veterans to the series. The game is split into two stories. First up is the Septentrion Story, and the Triangulum Story is all new to Record Breaker. You can start both stories at any time, and unlike before, you can adjust the difficulty to fit your playstyle. If you felt the original Devil Survivor 2's difficulty was a tad unforgiving, then you can try out the new Blessed difficulty, which is far more forgiving, but will still challenge you from time to time. The ability to change difficulties mid-playthrough is also a great addition for those times when you don't feel like grinding just to progress through the story. The story of Devil Survivor 2 has you playing as a high school student as you survive all 7 Septentrions, as you discover why the peaceful world you once knew has transformed into an apocalyptic setting. You are not alone in your journey, and will meet all sorts of people that will aid you in your journey to save the world before it is destroyed. You and the rest of the world have an app called Nicaea. This allows users to make contracts with demons. These demons are your only line of defense to save the world, but no one seems to know where this app came from. This 50+ hour story will lead you down various paths, as it is up to the player to choose how you spend your free time. These actions you take have consequences, and people you meet along your journey will and can die, if you're not careful, that is. This means there are various endings you can end up having. Luckily, with options like New Game Plus, you can always go back and see where else the Septentrion story may take you. While this may not be your first playthrough, the story has newly added voice acting, adding lots to the overall experience. These previously quiet characters now will speak every line of dialogue in the story. The only moments that are not voiced are in the middle of most battles, but boss battles and endgame events are still fully voiced. Compared to the previously released English dub of Devil Survivor 2 by Sentai Filmworks, this all-new cast of voice actors fits their respective characters much better. This addition of voice acting may seem like a minor update, but helps transform the storytelling from good to great. The story remains great at conveying the feeling of pressure that the characters' actions have. While most stories have moments of lows and highs, Devil Survivor 2 nails that feeling of hopelessness. After defeating each Septentrion, you know that you have to defeat the rest, and usually have to deal with the consequences it took to survive up until this point. The brand new Triangulum story is sure to be the most interesting aspect of Record Breaker for many players, but I would suggest that you play through the Septentrion story beforehand. Once you finally do start up the all-new epilogue to the original Devil Survivor 2 story, you discover something quite unexpected. The game doesn't follow the player's ending in the previous story. Instead, an all-new optimistic ending where the protagonist is able to have all 13 characters work together to save the world and defeat Polaris with the help of Alcor. From here, the world is reverted to its original way before the Septentrion attack. Although this time, many aspects of the world are different from how you originally knew them. You are now friends with not only Daichi, but Io from the get-go, and no one besides you seems to remember what happened in the previous world. All would be well if it wasn't for the fact that the demon summoning app Nicaea is also making its way around people's phones. And just as you were getting ready to adjust to normal life, a giant creature appears out of nowhere in the sky. This creature is similar to the Septentrions, but instead is the first of 3 Triangulum to attack Japan. Again, it is up to you and your friends to not only save the world, but to figure out what you did wrong last time and try to save humanity once and for all. This story at first treads a very fine line between familiar and lazy storytelling. Luckily, the Triangulum story actually plays with the player's expectations in very interesting ways. The story ends up holding its own when compared to the Septentrion story. Instead of having to deal with everything all over again at level 1, you are allowed to jump up 20 levels and put skill points into whatever character you had previously wanted to play as till now. Also, once the Triangulum attacks, everyone starts gaining their memories of the previous world back while retaining their new world memories. It's very interesting to not only go through deja vu in a story like this, and instead just have characters focus on trying to understand how they messed up in the previous world. You soon understand this new world they end up living in ends up not being as similar as you first think while the story progresses. While having Devil Survivor Overclock add an extra day to the story was nice, getting a 40-plus hour epilogue in the form of the Triangulum Story goes to show that Atlus really knows what their fans wanted. Just like the Septentrion Story, the Triangulum Story also has multiple endings for you to discover, extending the replay value even more through multiple playthroughs and New Game Plus on top of this side story. The gameplay of Devil Survivor 2 remains the same with Record Breaker. If you didn't know, the Devil Survivor series is a strategy RPG. This mixes extremely well with classic Shin Megami Tensei themed battle systems. You still have to know enemies' weaknesses, gain skills, summon demons. The only missing traditional SMT battle system is the ability to talk to demons. Even with such a large cast of playable party members, the game also does a good job of not forcing you to grind experience. The game does a good job of not forcing you to grind for experience on the Blessed difficulty. But on the Apocalypse difficulty level, expect to have to work to progress later on in the story. As with any SMT game, there are dozens of demons to summon in the battle. You gain more demons by using the demon auction feature to bid for more powerful demons, and can even fuse demons together to make an even stronger demon. The Fate system remains unchanged and has you leveling up party members as you become closer with them through the game's story. With each level, you become more powerful with each particular party member. You can only level their fate up by spending time with them in your free time, or in certain cases depending on what ending you are going for. The jump from Nintendo DS to 3DS has definitely helped Record Breaker's presentation, but as a primarily sprite-based game, the improvements will not be as prominent. The sound quality, on the other hand, definitely stands out more than anything else, with Kenji Ito, producer of the Saga franchise, and Shoji Meguro, composer of the Shin Megami Tensei franchise soundtracks, fitting into each game's story. Ito handled the original music in the Septentrion Story, while Meguro wrote all of the new music for the Triangulum Story. Devil Survivor 2 is easily one of the best RPGs to hit the Nintendo 3DS, and hold its own compared to all other Shin Megami Tensei games released so far. While some may view Record Breaker as just an enhanced game, in reality it would be well worth its asking price alone just for the Triangulum Story. Getting the original game with all the new voice acting is just icing on the cake. Luckily, there's a lot of cake here for you to enjoy, since you will easily lose 100+ hours to this game as you work your way through both stories. If you couldn't tell, this is a game all Shin Megami Tensei fans need to play, and if you like SRPGs, then Record Breaker also works as a great step for your first time into SMT franchise. If you have any questions or concerns that I may not have covered here in my review, comment below or let me know on Twitter and I will do my best to answer all of them. If you would like to see more reviews like this, let me know in the comments below as well. As just a little bit of disclosure, I did review this game based on a review code provided by Atlus USA. Finally, Record Breaker did feature DLC, but after reviewing each piece of downloadable content, I didn't think any of it affected the overall gameplay in a positive or negative way. If you still wish to hear more of my opinion on this downloadable content, I'll be posting a video in the next few days giving my thoughts on all the missions and if it's really worth the asking price. Either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video review. Be sure to check out Shin Megami Tensei Network. We are a podcast on iTunes. We upload every week. Besides that, you can join our Facebook group as well. Follow us on Twitter. All the links will be below in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you couldn't tell, I really enjoyed Record Breaker, so I hope you guys get a chance to pick it up when it comes out tomorrow in North America. And yeah, if you do, let me know what you think, whether it be here or on the Facebook group or even on Twitter. I just would love to know what you guys think of the game. Have a good one.